Hello, boys! At one point, humans tried to cure malaria, the ecosystem collapsed, and the solution involved parachuting cats. This actually happened in the early 1950s in Borneo, Southeast Asia. Malaria was everywhere. Remote villages, no hospitals, no infrastructure, people were getting sick constantly. So when outside help finally arrived, it felt like salvation. Specifically, DDT. DDT was the first of the modern synthetic insecticides developed in the 1940s. At the time, it was seen as a miracle. This was peak science will fix everything era. Mosquitoes carry malaria. DDT kills mosquitoes. Problem solved. So they sprayed it. And when I say sprayed it, I mean everywhere. Inside homes, on walls, on roofs, on jungle vegetation, even directly on people. No one questioned it. Because why would you? And at first, it worked. Mosquito populations crashed. Malaria cases dropped hard. From the outside, this looked like a massive win. Everyone thought the problem was solved. But here's the thing. DDT doesn't disappear. It doesn't politely leave after killing bugs. It sticks around. It builds up. So the first weird thing people noticed had nothing to do with mosquitoes. Cockroaches and insects started dying. Which sounds great. Then geckos started eating the dead insects. And because the poison doesn't break down, it stacked up inside the geckos. Villagers began noticing geckos acting completely wrong, walking sideways, falling off walls, twitching, moving like they were drunk. Then the cats started eating the geckos, and this is where everything snapped. Cats began dying in huge numbers. Entire villages lost most of their cats. People describe cats shaking violently, convulsing, then just collapsing. Cats that had lived there forever were suddenly gone. And at this point, they were just confused. Mosquitoes were gone, malaria was down, so why were cats dying? Because the poison didn't stop working, it just moved. From insects to geckos to cats. Once the cats were gone, the rats didn't slowly increase, they exploded. And I mean that in the most literal way possible. Villages started reporting rats everywhere. Not hiding, not sneaking around, out in the open. Rats running across food stores. Rats chewing through baskets, walls, crops. Rats climbing into houses like they own the place. Some villagers said rats were so bold they'd grab food straight off your plate while you were eating. At night, it got worse. People woke up to rats biting toes, ears, fingers. Children were getting attacked in their sleep. And rats don't just eat things, they spread things. Diseases like typhus started appearing. So now malaria was down, but a new health crisis was walking around on four legs. And just when you think, okay, this is the worst part, it wasn't. Because DDT had another side effect no one was paying attention to. It killed wasps. Which sounds fine until you realize what the wasps were doing. They were controlling caterpillars. Without wasps, caterpillars went insane. And they started eating the roofs. So houses were collapsing from rats chewing the supports from below and caterpillars eating the roofs from above. Entire homes failed structurally because of bugs and rodents. At this point, villages were barely livable. Food was disappearing. Houses were falling apart. People were scared to sleep. Officials finally realized they hadn't fixed the problem. They had replaced it. And here's the important part. They didn't slowly analyze the ecosystem. They didn't step back and rethink everything. They panicked. And when humans panic, they do something very specific. They look for a fast, dramatic fix. Someone looked at the situation and said, okay, what stopped the rats before? Cats. So the logic was simple. No cats cause the rat problem, so we need cats, as soon as possible, in large numbers. So, on March 1960, instead of slowly rebuilding the ecosystem, officials decided to airlift cats. They rounded up cats from nearby coastal areas, mostly from Singapore, put them into wooden crates, cut holes so they could breathe, attached parachutes, and loaded them into planes. Then they flew over rat-infested villages and started dropping them. Crates landing in fields, cats exploding out in panic. Some bolting straight into the jungle. This is the most Looney Tunes solution to an ecological disaster ever attempted. And somehow, it worked. Not instantly, not perfectly, but slowly rat numbers started going down. The cats that survived adapted fast, did what cats do best, and reintroduced a bit of balance. Some cats disappeared completely, probably became jungle legends, and the immediate chaos kinda eased. But by the time things stabilized, the damage was already done. Villages had suffered, ecosystems were broken, trust in miracle solutions was shaken. This whole event became a case study in unintended consequences. It showed something humans keep forgetting. You can't patch ecosystems like software. This story later helped fuel the backlash against DDT, especially after books like Silent Spring, and made people realize that miracle chemicals come with receipts. In local folklore, some communities even turned this into stories about cats falling from the sky to restore balance. So that's it, boys. Thanks for watching.